morning to all of you all. Welcome to HerRising 2024 and the first panel discussion of the day. When I look around, I must say I am super stoked to see so many women and so many allies, all in one room, all of whom are invested in building a more inclusive tomorrow. I'm very, very grateful to have an esteemed panel of speakers with me right here. And while we will get into the conversation around what the theme is and delve into their unique stories, I do want to take a moment and talk about what is it that brings me here today. We heard Neha, we heard Priyanka and Muru talk about journeys that women go through. Just by way of a quick introduction, I have been working in the corporate for about 20 odd years now. And through these last 2 decades, there have been umpteen career pivots, there have been career transitions, there has been one human baby who is all of 9 now, a lot of entrepreneurial stints. So it never really has been a linear journey. And I'm glad that today we get here to celebrate journeys like these. I've been fortunate that along the way, I found a lot of inspirational people, and I was thus able to carve a niche of work for myself that I'm humbled and proud to say is an organization that has been set up called the Power Pivot, where we work with clients and organizations in the space of women development. On that note, I would now like to call upon all of our panelists to introduce themselves, and then we get started with our theme for the day.
Okay. Hi, this is Bhavna Singhal. I'm a finance professional, chartered accountant. I've overall 21 plus years of experience. I worked in Corning as finance leader for rest of Asia region. That's about me in short. To introduce a little bit about Corning as well. Corning is a one of the world's leading innovator in material sciences. And it's a 173-year-old company and have various life-changing inventions so far. Quickly, just from easy understanding, you touch, experience, interact with Corning daily. When you start touching your smartphone from the cover glass, you use internet at home and office or on the go. That's all from Corning. So it's everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. First of all, it's absolutely great to be here today morning. Thank you very much to all of you for making time to hear us and addressing, it was a beautiful morning with Priyanka and with Neha, of course, Diksha. So I'm Aarti Shirish. I, mother of 2, stay in Delhi, manage employee relations for MasterCard across Asia Pacific countries, have worked with organizations like Barclays, Standard Chartered, and American Express before MasterCard. And I will not tell you my years of experience because that just, you will guess my age. So not going to do that. But other than that, a life coach, not a life coach, actually a leadership coach. The life coach is a very big word. So a leadership coach, advisor to the CEOs and to the people business partners and HR business partners across the industry. So that's what I do, and looking forward for a wonderful session today. Thank you.
Hello all, I'm Srividya. I'm working with S&P Global currently, have 15 plus years of experience into program management. Started my career as an IT professional, now globally leading the digital workplace for S&P Global. Before that, I was working with Infosys, American Express, Care Health Insurance, to name a few. Apart from that, I am a mother of 2 girls, pet parent of 6 cats, a wife, and a dreamer. Thank you, everyone.
Good morning. My name is Jumur Agarwal. I lead business operations and supply chain initiatives at Cargill. I come with 23 plus years of experience in domain of strategic sourcing, vendor management, fundamental trading, supply chain, fundamental and technical trading for various commodities like polymers, metals, and also now agricultural commodities. As a P&L driver, I've been a P&L driver for most part of my career, and I've navigated being the only woman and or one of the few women in this domain and space. So I'm very excited to be here and share my experiences and perspective. Lovely meeting you all.
Thank you so very much. A quick check with all of you all. Isn't that what we truly call diversity? The diversity on the panel here today, women from different walks of life, women from different organizations, women from different ethnicities, different functional expertise, all coming together to deliberate and discuss on the one theme that truly binds us all, which is building an inclusive culture. How we're going to do this is by putting forth certain questions, delving into their life experiences, getting more anecdotes, more references on how each one of them have navigated their unique path to leadership. Where do they think some of their career transitions became the turning point? What are some of the systemic things that organizations can bring in? And what is it truly to build an inclusive culture? On that note, I think Srividya, while you spoke about the various hats that you've been taking, being a parent, a pet parent, a working mother, and so much more, I'd just like to speak to you about this core theme on career transitions. Now, we all know career transitions are these pivotal moments that become the defining points in our respective lives, right? And this tends to get even more amplified when it comes to women. When you look back at your journey, what have been some of those pivotal moments in your journey? And how have you really been able to navigate these with or with the lack of organization support, if at all?
I was called the crazy to start with. So when I started my career, I wanted to be the world's best developer. That's all I wanted to be. Little did I know there's so much more in store to start with. But then I was always curious. I always wanted to go ahead and see what all opportunities are there. And this is something which I always discuss with my leaders, with my managers, and I'm truly blessed to have worked with such organizations which supported having those discussions, where we had those mentors who were ready to support me in taking those crazy transitions, switching teams, going from individual contributor to a people leader. So as an organization, there are trainings for upskilling, but what we really need is a coach, a mentor who can help us in showing us the path forward in our craziness, who can support our craziness. So when I took the responsibility of being a people leader, managing global teams, managing this wide digital workplace solutions for S&P Global, it was overwhelming to start with. It is huge, but then you always had your manager to discuss. So just being curious, just going out and asking for it. Many a times we women, we rarely ask for those assignments. We get so comfortable within our work area. Because obviously we are also in various stages of transition, be it motherhood, we just get very comfortable with it. So just get out of that comfort zone, start asking for those stretch assignments, and organizations these days are supporting every woman, every employee of theirs by providing them with these opportunities. So yeah, that's pretty much about me. So just be curious, be crazy.
And a very valid point that you make, ask for help or just reach out and ask for more opportunities. There is a very, a beautiful line that often stays with me that I read in a book that says, asking for help is actually a sign of courage. And it's a sign that you're not ready to give up. So when we reach out, there definitely is a whole world of exploration that opens out for us. Thank you for sharing that, Srividya. Very, very inspiring. Bhavna, would you like to take a stab at this as well and talk to us about your career pivot so far? What have been some of those transition moments in your life that truly stand out and that you think were the defining points?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a mother of two teens, 15 and 13. And we heard since morning, like, there's a journey of 4 M's. So I feel and I experience that for me was most tough when I also became mother. I have started my career in the domain of audit and was into that field for 8 to 10 years, was in my comfort zone when you work for a field for 8 to 10 years. In my previous company, almost a decade back or more than that, I joined. I joined as an individual contributor into the same domain. And my daughters were 3 and 1 at that time. I used to commute Delhi to Gurugram daily, and seeing my daughters waiting on the gate when I used to enter home, it was very overwhelming. So what has happened, within a period of 6 months, I was asked if I would like to lead SAP project in that. And being a finance professional, leading any ERP project, it's a great experience. And I was like quite not sure, because it requires undivided attention, commitment, a lot of upskilling of your, I was in comfort zone at the end. I deliberated, but I was aspiring, in my career, so I said yes to it. And I think I took 2-3 days to decide, and that I defined for myself as a pivotal moment, that when I was asked, I just said yes to it. I could have said no to it within my comfort zone, but I said yes to it. And it was a 1-year project. I had moments when I cried. I had moments when I felt why I said yes. But I'll say it requires courage, clarity of your own thoughts, what you want in your life. But at the same time, your company and organization also shapes it. So if you are in an organization who doesn't support you in your aspiration, they don't give you, conducive culture to shape up in your tough times, you will have tough time, you might fail. So I thank to my organization. Currently I'm working in Corning, past 6+ years. And that's how we do provide platforms to our women colleague here in Corning, where we have specific programs, we have flexible timings, we have, mentoring, where all women who runs through this journey have a safe platform and they reach to their career aspirations. Thank you.
Wow. The one key takeaway that I am going to take back with me is something that I learned very late in life, which is just saying yes to life. Just saying yes to opportunities that come our way and going out there and giving your best to them. So thank you for bringing that point to the fore. Aarti, if I may bring you in here, as we speak of our journeys, as we speak of navigating these more so as women, there are a whole lot of biases that come our way. Some of these are said, some of these are hushed up, implicit, just about implied biases. And we as women often tend to walk that tightrope of, that double bind. Are we being too soft and too emotional as leaders? Or are we being on the other end of the spectrum, where we're seen as being very aggressive and bossy, right? Through your journey, how have you been experiencing, navigating some of these biases as you've come along over these years?
Very smartly asked question, Diksha. Very, very smart. But you know what? All the accomplished women in this room and in this panel, I'm sure we all have experienced such situations in our lives, in our working lives. And having worked with almost across the globe, I don't see that it is not existing in any part of the world, okay? Whether it's India, yes, we have the context of India, but I can tell you east to west, north to south, we have seen such biases everywhere, each and every place, right? I will just put your question into 3 folds. What is, you asked my personal experiences, and I'm very much itching to tell that, and I will surely do that. How did I manage those? And also then see that what we could do better in this space as all of us together and as an institute as well. The first one on my personal experiences, very interesting ones. Let me just start with the hiring part. And I handle the employee relations of an organization and across Asia Pacific, 16 countries. So things that come to me, and this is again not location-based at all. Hiring a person who's 24-year-old, no, I think, Aarti, we should think about it she may get married, change places. Think about it. Do you want to really do that? All right, just married. I want you to think about it because she may get pregnant, may go for maternity very soon. Again, think about it, right? Okay, has just delivered. Well, her attention will be too much towards the child. Do you really want to think about it, right? And then we have people like Bhavna and who have actually gone through all this life and yeah, I have two daughters, 21 and 18, who are now settled. So I'm not worried about them. But at some point in time, I was also worried about them. In one of the situations, Diksha, while I was addressing in such a panel, and it's around 10 years back, a set of women whom was talking about my success journey it was a motivational kind of a conversation. And I used to travel all the time. And one of my women friends and colleagues asked me that, are you a good mother? Do you think you're a good mother? Right? I know you're being very, very successful and you're doing a great role and being, I'll not name the organization, being at that position at that age is like quite something. Do you really think that you are being a good mother? And I took a pause. I thought I will answer that, and this was a 2-day convention. I said I'll answer that tomorrow after asking my children. Because I have made them that independent and that intelligent that they can answer this. And I really asked this question to them. They gave me an answer that, Mom, we are different and you have brought us up differently. People think normally. So that's what they said, and that's what I delivered it to them the next day. One very interesting situation in my professional life wherein I had to take a decision which may have been a very big risk to the organization, and I was being very pragmatic around that. I'm not taking that risk. And I was the decision maker. I said, no, this is not what I'm doing. And I had to hear that, yeah, you're a woman, you'll be scared of taking a risk. I said, no, I'm balanced. I know that what commercial and litigation exposure that the organization can go into if I take this risk, and it is not gender related. But you know, I have also heard at some place, and I do not hesitate to say that in this safe place, oh, she's pretty, she will get her way out. Well, it's not that. It's about the decision making. It's about the content. It's about the subject that I have the expertise on. How I have dealt with all this, it's very important. I have been very, very thankful that I had to go through all this. At every point when these challenges came to me, I had smiled to myself. I had felt good about myself that, yes, all right, I'm challenging someone. That's why this is coming to me. And I think that has really helped me, really, really helped me get over it. I will take a pause in the interest of time, and we'll follow up on the other question that you have, Diksha, if you want me to cover that.
No, absolutely. And I think the other theme that I definitely want us to speak about here, given we're talking biases, is how do you think organizations can set up mechanisms, structures, processes that are there in real, which make it easier and more seamless for us as women to navigate some of these biases?
Excellent one again, Diksha, not an easy one though. See, organizations have done a lot to create awareness and workshops and bias trainings and unconscious and conscious bias trainings, which I think have worked but have fallen short of somewhere, because a piece of paper and a training that does not go a very long way in the mindset of people. The actual is that when you are changing the culture, when you're bringing actually diversity in the boardroom. And when I sit in the boardroom and when I'm talking to people, I just try to see that, yes, we are less, maybe the women are less in that. These days women are getting a lot of, there was a time when I have worked when it was not so. It was not so. And I had to really tell them that, like in a family, you got to be bringing a balance by having 50-50% of both genders. It's always important that a boardroom also has that diversity. I think that is something that which organizations should definitely look at, other than the awareness, other than the workshops, other than the trainings that they are doing. I also think from a practical perspective, I will not get into that. Yeah, we have spoken since morning about her, for her. which really works very well, but you for yourself works a lot. You for yourself works a lot more. Yeah, I think I'll take a pause again. I think
Sure,
I can
thank
go
you
on.
so very much. No, thank you so very much. And I think we could also keep hearing to those stories because I think there's always merit in seeing how some of these themes have translated truly in our lives and how each one of us have knocked the doors, opened them up for us, and walked with our head high. Jumar, if I could bring you in at this stage and talk to you about what has your rendezvous been with what we call the big B of biases in your journey?
I think Aarti's laid it out very beautifully for us. There's very little for me to add, but what can I say? I mean, damned if you do and doomed if you don't, right? It's a leadership labyrinth, and we're lost between and caught up between impossible standards, right? Yes, we do have choices, but it's a choice between two equally undesirable options, right? It's a constant tight rope, I had say. So, I mean, men have more freedom, I would say, to lead and express, whereas women always have to take a pause, think twice, and, you know, make sure that they've adapted their style to the gendered expectations. So I recall this one time where I was asked to lead, you know, a supplier. I was asked to lead an assignment where I was needed to develop supplier landscape in a new market, in a new geography, right? And the team was also relatively new, and there was serious time pressure. So interestingly, I needed, you know, the situation demanded me to break the big rock into smaller goalposts and spell it out for my team and be prescriptive, at least to get them started and get them to a level. Project completed on time. It was a huge success. Those suppliers are with the company. They're classified, prioritized suppliers, thriving, doing very well. So in my head, I had this, you know, I was beaming with this success. And soon after, I walked into a room for my year-end discussion with my manager. And he had a very starkly different, unique, interesting take on this, where he challenged me a lot. He basically told me that I was smothering my team. I was, you know, I was being overprotective, and I had not given them a fair opportunity and, you know, let their own potential shine. And he basically told me that I was mothering my team. Now, interestingly, it didn't, so I left the room with a feel bad, right? I didn't know at that point of time that this was happening, right? And I felt very marginalized. I also thought that I was overthinking and I was being oversensitive. And I basically did not dare to speak about it to anyone, you know, because in my head it was my own doing, right? It was my own thought. It was my own personal demon. But, and now, I mean, after so many years of working, I often look back and I wonder that had it been for my male peer, you know, would he have applauded? Would he have been applauded for demonstrating exceptional situational leadership and, you know, being a brilliant mentor? Or would he also have been told that he was fathering his team, right? So, I mean, I can go on and count more and more experiences like these, especially because I've had the privilege or the, you know, or the underprivilege of being the only woman in a room full of men on so many occasions, right? So here's what I think organizations can do this differently, you know. They can create awareness on these topics, you know, that these are real issues. These are not, you know, created by an individual, and they're not a product of overthinking or of being oversensitive to situations. So organizations can actually create ecosystems and environments and encourage mentorship and, you know, encourage discussions and roundtable meetings, you know, where they kind of invite people for experience sharing, so that more and more women know that this is a genuine topic, you know, this is a genuine problem. And they have support, you know, their ecosystem gives them psychological safety to talk about these very openly. So yeah, it's time to basically now bring it out and put it on the table, according to me.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I speak on behalf of the audience here, but personally, when I was hearing about all of these stories of biases in my head, I was just jogging down the memory lane and thinking of so many times and instances in life, both personal and professional, that these biases came out at me, and these biases were also something that I was giving out to others, consciously or subconsciously. Like they say, change begins with us. So I hope after listening to some of these stories on how some of our panelists have navigated these biases, I'm sure we will be more mindful when some of these biases come to the fore. We're at a very interesting juncture in the conversation, and we've really traversed some journey from an individual lens to an organizational lens. And you know, like we always say, that for a change to happen, it's not just the individual. Yes, the individual is center stage, but what is the systemic change? What are the systemic interventions that can be brought in? To my mind, I think it'll also merit for us to talk about what is it that organizations can do at a systemic level when it comes to focusing and fueling women's career or professional development. We know things like mentorship, things like sponsorship. They complement and they go with each other when we talk of people development. How do you think some of these have played out in your journey? Srividya, if you'd like to take a stab at it. If any mentors or sponsors that totally stand out for you and that you'd like to talk to us about.
So mentors are like that guiding light in our life. We will be lost, not that we can't do anything, but we will be lost. We just saw that graph when we started this morning. The graph is not linear. Sorry, the graph is not straight. It's all zigzag. You definitely need somebody who can help you in navigating through those changes. So when I started, obviously I was taking too many changes, and when I started working with S&P Global, I joined during the pandemic, which means that I had zero human interaction, in-person interaction. And this organization is huge. It's like an ocean. There are tremendous opportunities. There's so much which can be done, while your manager becomes your first mentor to start with, but for navigating through career opportunities, at times manager will also have their own biases, right? They'll support you and they'll try to keep that talent with themselves. It's that time when you need a true mentor who can help you in taking those leap, right? Otherwise, you will be lost. You won't be able to do what you desire to do. So at S&P Global and in general, across organizations, something which has to be done is to have a systemic process around mentorship. It's not everyone who's capable enough to go out, network, and ask for help. So having these processes, having these programs will help those people, will help our fellow mates who are not able to ask for help, ask for guidance. Also, just to add to that, we also need coaches. So there's a difference in mentor, coach, and sponsor, right? So sponsors is not something which you can just get it just by talking. You have to perform well, you have to network, you have to showcase your talent, and these sponsors at times are your mentors who will be talking about you behind those closed doors, will be getting you in that consideration set and will help you in promoting your careers. So I think just for getting, just to get sane in your journey, you need mentor. And yeah, having a mentorship program will definitely help.
Thank you so much for laying the land on that. I do gather that we all got extremely immersed in our conversation, and thus we are a little short on time. However, before we open the floor for Q&A, I would really urge for all the panelists to maybe take a quick 30 seconds and leave out a strong message, a strong giveaway for all the women who are tuned in either on the HerKey online platform or are here in the audience today on what is it that they can do to segue through this growth journey? Whoever would like to go first.
Okay, maybe I can start. So for women, I had say something what Priyanka has already shared. Keep at it, stay the course, don't quit. Seek mentorship, seek sponsorship, right? Mentorship and sponsorship are different, however complementary. Women are over-mentored and under-sponsored, and it's high time that we change that, right? So lean on your mentors, and stay the course, but find yourself sponsors. And don't shy away from self-advocacy. It may feel very overwhelming, embarrassing, to indulge, very vain, to indulge in those kind of conversations, but put yourself out there, right? And for organizations, I would say that while everybody, almost all organization is meeting their diversity goal, almost every organization is now, has numerous leadership development programs, but they need to now be upgraded to really move beyond just recruiting and retaining. They need to be upgraded to actually address the complex problem of developing leadership identity, both within our own minds and also in eyes of others. Right, so having formal mentorship programs and finding, creating a pool for sponsors to choose from formally for your high potentials are two things that organizations now need to take on. Thank you.
Thank you. So one-liner?
Yes, please.
Just one-liner. Just be absolutely effortless to be yourself. Effortlessly be yourself is what I would say, and it just works. It just works. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I can go next. I'll say be your own advocate. I firmly believe in self-advocacy. Be resilient. You will be having setbacks, failure. Stand up by yourself for yourself. Thank you.
Well, I'll be, okay, so be curious, be resilient, ask for that help, ask for that raise and ask for that assignment. Just get out of that comfort zone. I truly believe that we can't do extraordinary things by leading ordinary way of working, so just change it. Be extraordinary.
Wow. Thank you so much. But before we let the panel go away, we're opening the floor for questions. Anybody who wants to ask the panel about something specific, we'd be more than happy to bring in your perspective and your asks here. Anyone from the audience? Okay.
Go ahead.
Hi everyone. I have one question that, we always do workshop for women. You should be a self-advocate. We do programs for them. Why don't you enroll into this? And, being a working professional and having family responsibilities, it's an added burden of finding a mentor, doing the work, when a lot of the bias doesn't come from the women, it is from the men. And what do organizations or people at the top do to train them or mentor them is what I'm very notorious for asking my HR the same in my organization or wherever I go. But I feel that is totally lacking, and I believe that everybody here I also have to spend, give about 3 or 4 extra hours every week or every 2 weeks, fortnight to undergo these training, get certification. But if I have a male boss, I am being mentored, what do? He has not undergone any training. So what do we do on that front? So anybody, please answer that for me.
I'll take a shot, and I hope I'm able to answer your question. So my dear friend, I understand. This is exactly what you are going through and many of us have gone through, right? I think trainings, workshops, mentoring them and telling them that what biases they have to overcome is a great idea. But in my experience, and I would want to hear experiences of others, is that I have spoken to them. I have told them personally that what is a bias. This is something that looks like a bias. And you know what? What I have understood is that they get it. When you explain, again, asking for help, as we said, is not bad. Asking for making them understand themselves is not bad, right? Someone else can, I can come and do a workshop for you, and I do a lot of such workshops. But when I have spoken to my male colleagues, senior colleagues, and tell them that, listen, my friend, this looks like a bias. Do you want to think about it? It has worked. It has worked culturally. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Aarti. Thank you for that. A very quick add-on that I'd have here, and then maybe if someone else from the panel wants to say something. I often think that the problem is not men versus women. It is about men with women, together working towards building an equitable, inclusive environment in all walks of life. And I think that's how I would invite for all of us to approach this. Anyone else from the panel who would like to add something?
Yeah, I just want to add that, you know, at times we think that once our trainings are done, mentorship is done, everything will start working on its own. And we usually forget to ask, push ourselves out of that comfort zone. And we ourselves, the change starts within us, right? So we ourselves are also bound by the responsibility as the primary caregiver. So that's the place where we have to start asking for help, be it at the personal front or at the professional front. Let's start asking for help. We are not superhuman. Don't try to be one. Let's start working on that.
Thank you so much. And I know we're done with the allocated time. If there's any pressing question.
From the online audience?
Sure, and where do we access that, please? For the online audience, if there are any questions.
I think that'll be good enough.
They could unmute and ask?
Yes, yes.
Okay. For the online audience, if you have any questions, please feel free to unmute and ask. We are here for the next 60 odd seconds. We'd love to take on any more questions. Okay, I think we have someone right here, but we can't hear her.
Okay. Can we facilitate that? I think someone is trying to, yeah.
You'll have to give us a moment, please. We're just trying to get the audio fixed.
Supriya is there.
Supriya, just a moment while we get the audio fixed. Supriya, if you'd like to try unmuting yourself, if not already done so. Okay, I gather you have, so just give us a moment.
Can we unmute the Supriya, please?
In the interest of time, Supriya, would you want to type your question in a chat window that we could then read out?
Is it audible now? Is it better?
Yes, we're so glad to have you on audio. Please go ahead.
Okay, so hello everyone, I'm Supriya Nair. I'm representing our online audience today. And I just want to say that it's been an incredible experience joining HerRising Live. We've received some fantastic questions. So, Hema from our audience asks, how should a woman navigate her career when she relocates for her husband's job, especially if his earning potential is higher, but the new location offers limited opportunities for her own career growth?
Sure, whoever from the panel would like to take a stab at it.
I'll just add, like, first you should express to your organization this limitation that, that's the, and definitely, as, fellow colleagues said, like, first express, and if you are doing good, definitely there will be a way out to continue in some, because we are all going hybrid. Post-COVID, it's very, normal to work like that. So I think that's the first step. Anyone would like to add?
Thank you for asking. I think it goes a lot in my personal journey again. First is that we heard Neha in the morning. We heard Priyanka in the morning. Create your own support systems, all right? Once you have your support systems, it's all right. Location is immaterial. I currently work in Pune. My family is in Delhi. For last 6 years before Pune, I was working in Chennai and my family was still in Delhi. Before that, my husband was in Bangalore and I was still in Delhi. So, we have navigated all these 20 years like that. And I'm not special. This is something which just happens if you really do it. If you really want to do it, create your support systems, go on with your career, and do not stop yourself for a location. And just because to be with someone in a location, it's all right. You can still be together. And someone said in the morning, have a life partner who's a real partner.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I think it's all about being intentional about your choices every step of the way. Do we have any more questions?
Right. We have just one more question from Nandini Raju, who says that how can one take a stand when facing personal disagreements both within the family and at the workplace?
Okay, anyone from the panel?
Yeah, maybe I can try and answer that. I think if you're authentic, if you have a solid, strong logic and reason, and if you put it out nicely and not recklessly, but you're relentless about, and persistent about conveying your message in a nice manner, most adults and most people at work and home listen. Right? But I think when we start out, we start out with a lot of assumptions and a lot of, 60% of resistance is made up in our own heads, right? So if you put that aside and if you make a genuine attempt, I think the success rate of such conversations is pretty high.
Thank you so much. Anyone else who'd like to add another flavor, perspective, shade?
You've said it very well. But just I would say that is that 90% of resistance.
Great. On that note, thank you so very much, everyone. I am sure that I go out with a ton of encouragement, inspiration, and energy from this conversation. And I hope some of you resonate with that as well. Thank you so much to all the panelists for sharing their authentic stories and perspectives with us. The change begins right here with each one of us in this room. Right? So let's be the torchbearers. Thank you so very much. Thanks.